We are the atomic-powered PrinnyCast. Please give our best wishes to everybody. Welcome to PrinnyCast for January 5th, 2013. This is episode 15, the first of the new year after our 3-week vacation, which both went by really quickly and really slowly. I can't explain time travel. Timey-wimey, yeah. I'm Chris. This is Grover.
Hello.
This is Mike.
Hello.
And we're going to try to entertain you today.
Yes.
I'm going to give the usual shout-outs to longplays.org for all of their help getting us some fantastic footage for all our shows, and to galaxypugs.com, all sorts of servers for Unreal tournaments, and I'm saying this really weird today. But yeah, check out our forums there too. And don't forget Grover's channel with lots of Gaming of the Week footage every day. He's also got several Let's Plays going on, which includes 2 variations of Minecraft, some Earthbound. I don't know if he's going to continue doing the worms or not.
Yeah, we will.
And Binding of Isaac keeps popping up in there, and it seems like there's still something else I'm missing.
Kerbal Space Program, I think.
Maybe that's it. But anyway, so head over there so you can keep up on all sorts of gaming all day long, sometimes literally. And you may have noticed that I actually gave my shot at a Let's Play over this whole vacation thing, too. That was actually like my 4th or 5th attempt, and they all failed. That was
I watched it. I wasn't sure what was going on. It was confusing. I mean, I knew what was going on, but I can't understand what was happening to your audio.
It was weird. For some odd reason, the recording device did not capture the audio to the game. Oh well, we survived. So, as you guys may be able to tell, me and Mike are kind of under the weather this week.
And I am very far away from them, states away, so I'm pleased.
Yeah.
He's going to try to stay that way. So yeah, speaking of games we've been playing lately, what have we been playing lately? Since me and Grover's pretty much playing what we did before we left for vacation, let's find out what you've been doing, Mike.
I finished Assassin's Creed 2. I started Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. I beat the original Torchlight, but I'm not sure if I really beat it because it kind of continues to go on. So
yeah.
I killed what I thought was the final boss, and then I killed the big beast guy after that. That took forever, but there's more in the game, so I don't know if that was just DLC that I didn't realize I had, or I'm just gonna ignore it and go on to Torchlight 2 because that was the main goal. I wanted to see the story in Torchlight so I could play Torchlight 2. And a friend bought me Dark Souls for Christmas, the Steam version, the Prepare to Die edition. So I've been playing the crap out of that, really. That, and when I'm not playing World of Warcraft, I'm probably playing Dark Souls.
So out of all of us, I think you're the one that's had the most new variety. I think Grover beats us all for actual variety.
Yeah.
So speaking of which, Grover, what have you been playing?
Well, I played a lot over the entire 3 weeks. Kerbal Space Program, the last game of the week. That game was hard as hell as a game a week, and just for broadcasting, it was really weird. I didn't really know what to do, and most of the time I just did sessions and played around and had no real goal other than to make the rocket go up and not blow up. I did get it to land, and the second to the final video was quite hilarious how I landed on the planet and it fell over, and I used the landing gear to right myself up.
Yeah.
I also played Don't Starve, and unfortunately I haven't played that much. I started a Let's Play and then kind of it got abandoned for other things. The major thing being Minecraft Feed the Beast, which was updated during the 3 weeks and is even more addicting. I've honestly been trying to drag myself away from that game to do other videos, but it's honestly consuming me. I also played a couple sessions of Binding of Isaac, and then my damn controller broke. So for a whole week I couldn't do anything with controller games. But then I got the controller and it was awesome. And I started Earthbound, and that's one of many Super Nintendo and other games that I'll be playing on an emulator. And then I got Worms Revolution. I got that from Nil, and I haven't played enough to really get a real grasp on that game, but it seems like a blast. It's like Gunbound, and what's the other, I can't even think of the game. There was a tower game that I used to play as a kid. I can't remember the name of it, but it's kind of like that too. But yeah, it's just, where you shoot back and forth, try to kill each other, that kind of game. It's real blast. Mm-hmm. And then They Bleed Pixels, which I wouldn't even call it shoot it up. How would I put it? Think of it's bossy time, but not psychotically hard. That's the best way to put it.
And for the people that don't know what Bossy Time is, it's basically a mod based off of I Want to Be the Guy. And for those who don't know what I Want to Be the Guy is, it's the one that was based off of Kaizo Mario. And for the people that don't know what Kaizo Mario is, it's basically the idea of making a stage as difficult as possible, so it's less about worrying about how many lives you have, because you have infinite, than it is just trying to get through with your sanity.
Exactly.
Games like Super Meat Boy have kind of taken it to a more more acceptable level for a lot of gamers, but even it's rough as all get out.
Oh, I did play Bossy Time too, and yeah, that's all I can say about that game. I played it, and I couldn't get it for the first level. That's all I can say. I couldn't get out of the first level.
They don't make it easy.
And that's all the game said.
At this actual week, the only thing I've actually played is Minecraft. I've been working with my city again. I've played only a handful of the Congregate games. I almost Let's Played one of them, and maybe I should go back and play it again and do that, because it was fairly short. I beat the whole thing in like 12 minutes, I think. And then Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion, which was one of my Christmas gifts from one of my friends. So I got a couple of hours of it in. But besides that, I haven't played a whole lot. There was a bunch of other game gifts that I'd gotten over the Christmas holiday that I've been trying to play. I've had the Dungeon series, all of the Stronghold games, Half Minute Hero, which I did put a couple hours into that. And I was also playing Street Fighter Cross Mega Man. Matter of fact, I may have even mentioned that last episode. Yeah, I don't think so, though. And then Maldita Castilla, which, I don't know, I think this one I might actually try to at least show some footage separately from the show, or show it off to Grover to see if he thinks it'll be a game of the week, because it deserves a little more time taken to it than what I think we should probably give right now. But for those who know it, it's like an arcade love letter to the old Ghost and Goblin series. I mean, it plays so much like the arcade versions of those, it's ridiculous. And it's so well made, and it's free, and yeah, that's why I think it should get a little more attention than what I can give to it right now. And that's pretty much it. I still need to give people a tour of that city, show what I've done so far. But that could be an hour-long video in itself, so it'd have to be divided into chunks.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess on to game news. Now, you would think after being away for 3 weeks, a lot would have happened, but I think it was largely a lot of companies are just kind of sitting back and seeing how the Christmas sales were going to go, so not a lot happened. There's a lot of Christmas vacations and everything else. But there's still plenty of news here. It was looking kind of dire there for a few days, as there was a lot of reports coming out of Blizzard that they had ditched the Diablo 3's PvP entirely, but that was just one of those rumor things that got carried away. It's just been delayed, letting gamers duel just like they did in the old days with Diablo 2 when it finally comes out. What they have removed, though, and which was the reason of the confusion, is the team deathmatch. It's indefinitely been pulled from the game, which was basically an arena mode where the gamers could take their characters, team brawls, much like you might see in MMOs with their arenas. But the play experience was pretty poor for most of the testers, as the duels grew stale quickly, and there's a lot of balancing issues, of course, to take into consideration of the characters before they could be feasible for anything too serious on that level. Probably not helped by the fact that the amount of customization has been so limited in Diablo 3 compared to Diablo 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sega. This is not a widely spread story, and I think it's kind of exploding little by little as more people are hearing about it, because it is one of those type of things that causes outrage. But Sega's been doing some really strange behavior lately, flagging videos of some of their games. Now, this started largely around Bayonetta, for I think they were trying to censor down how much of the game was actually being showed, because this happens a lot with more mature rated games on stream, stuff like that. I remember when God of War was really heavily pulled away from being uploaded. But there's this strange, crazy inquisition against videos of one of my favorite franchises of all time, that's Shining Force. Dozens, if not hundreds, of Shining Force 3 videos are being pulled, with reports of some LPers and gameplay sharers getting threatened with permabans, and at least one account was deleted over the matter. Shining Force 3 is one of the rarest mainstream games ever to come to the US, because gamers here only got a limited run for the first half of the Shining Force 3 saga, because it was divided into 2 parts. It was kind of like an episodic thing. And the first half was translated for us, but only at the end of the Sega Saturn life cycle. It was literally released after the death of the Sega Saturn, or at least about the same time. So we're talking only a couple 100,000 were even made, let alone sold. So regardless of which version was being played, US, Japanese, fan translated, emulated, directly recorded, or otherwise, these videos are still getting pulled left and right. The hint is Shining Force 3 may be getting some sort of re-release, because, well, it just kind of stands to reason, really. But this is the first time any game has been targeted this way, not to mention it's some very bad press for Sega, especially when the deleted user Marauder EX shared what was said when he contacted Sega about clearing up the situation. And I quote, "Hello, we never give explicit permission to use our intellectual property. However, in cases like this, we tend not to take action unless we or our products are being slandered in the derivative works. Best regards, Sega Customer Support." Now, I don't know anything about Marauder EX or his channel. I hadn't heard of him before this whole incident happened, and I was doing some research. But there's a lot of people that supported him, and many claiming the message makes most sense, as Marauder is a huge Shining Force fan, praising the series repeatedly in the videos that were even being taken out. So what the heck is going on, and will we see more of this in the future by other game developers?
That makes me quite terrified to play any Sega games on YouTube.
And there's a lot of people boycotting playing any more Sega games on their channel, or reporting about Sega or anything else because of this very attitude.
Yeah, I may very well join that just out of fear.
And I hate that, because I love 90s Sega. They had a lot of great games.
I wanted to play Sonic games on Let's Play. So yeah, I guess Sega, no Sega on my channel. God.
I'm not even going to run the Shining Force 3 trailer. I'd love to, because that's the only Shining Force I really haven't played before. But
yeah.
Anyway. 12 years of producing easily the most successful gaming console of all time, Sony stops making the PS2. Over 150 million units have been sold, a console that outsold even the PS3 that was supposed to take over for it for the first 3 years of its life.
It is the Atari of its age.
Mm-hmm. All shipments have been completed, all trucks and planes have flown. All that's left now is the beginning of the production on the PS4. But then we have this lovely news. There was a patent applied for early December that I think we hinted about in a former PrinnyCast, but I'm not entirely sure. But it's been coming to light in recent news even heavier. And this is basically a disc version of the very thing Mike was fuming about over the whole Nintendo Wii thing, about the games being tied to the system, not the account. So that's right. Sony wants its future console discs to be locked to the system. One system and one system alone to prevent resales and pirating. Well, what this also means is no more lending, no more borrowing games to friends and family, no more taking your games to someone else's house without lugging your system around too. The only silver lining to the story is that IGN tried to reach Sony for comment, and they responded that they don't comment on rumor and speculation. So let's cross our fingers that it is nothing but a rumor. But because they're not...
Pray to God that they're just, that it's just them experimenting with something and not trying to make this mainstream.
Because it is a patent. It's not something that they've actually decided to put on their system, but already because of this news, GameStop stock dipped heavily over the last couple of weeks because of this information. Because GameStop's stock is used games. So if one of the major competitors in the gaming market is going to stop allowing used games to exist, yeah, I can see why that would be a problem.
I probably wouldn't buy a system that was like that.
I wouldn't. I would flat out refuse.
Yeah. And on the other side of this news is Microsoft. They're gearing up new options for their next-gen Xbox by acquiring R2 Studios, a company that specializes in distribution and displaying digital media on televisions, and whose founder is the creator of the Slingbox, the device that lets you monitor and control your home TV from any supported gizmos like laptops and tablets, ugly little suckers though.
Yeah.
One of them looks like something you clean your shoes with, and the other one looks like somebody warped and bent your VCR. I don't know. But it's not really saying exactly what the company is going to be doing for the Xbox, but it was heavily stated that both Google and Apple were trying to acquire the company. So there's something about these guys everybody really wants. And American McGee of Alice fame, he wants your money. But it's not as bad as it sounds. He's starting to Kickstarter like so many other small but big hit studios and game makers lately, asking for $200,000 to finish up his Ikanero? Ah! I read it like Japanese. I don't finally understand. Okay. Ikanero. Demon Hunters, a game already underway, but needs a little bit more cash to finish out its work and to make it more multiplayer friendly and port it to tablets, if I saw right, to iOS and stuff like that. So it's already had its closed beta, and it's looking to run its open beta soon.
That's interesting to know. It's interesting because this is not a doomsday situation for these guys if it fails, and it doesn't look like it's going to fail. When I last checked, it was at 25,000, and let me just do a refresh. I'm on the page right now. It's okay. It's still at 25,000, but
and it's only a couple of days old right now, right?
Yeah, I think it's roughly 25 hours old.
Okay, it's newer than I thought.
Mm-hmm. So we get $1,000 an hour. I wish I got $1,000 an hour.
Heck yeah. Minecraft Snapshot 13W01, which is the first of the new year, and it came out this week focusing largely on redstone, so you can expect a new nether-related ore called Nether Quartz, which is used for new items including a daylight sensor, and the comparator, which is used for redstone circuitry. One can now also make nether bricks to craft their own nether brick block, instead of hunting down a nether fortress to just let it out for themselves.
Oh, thank God.
As well as the ability to make a new redstone block, much the way that you would make like an emerald block. A stackable hopper block that will catch loose items and throw them into the block below, like chests and dispensers and furnaces, functioning a little similar but not quite the same as the hopper in the Feed the Beast mod that you might have seen Gromer using in his videos. And if you haven't, why haven't you been watching his videos?
You horrible people.
New pressure plates include a weight management system, which is rather interesting, and a redstone activating trap chests that are both going to be a call for glee for adventure map makers. I'll try to explain this just a little bit. The more items that are on the pressure plate, the more electricity gets sent to the redstone. So all those games that you throw in certain amount of items, like money, before they give you something back, it's now even easier to do that. And there's 2 different weight sizes. And the trap chests are exactly what they sound like. When they're opened, they function like a switch, activating stone around them. And lastly, organizing chests and crafting is also made all the easier by a new draggable and double-clicking mechanic that has to be seen to really probably be explained too. Lots of updates in this one, but there's a few bugs remaining in the new gear that's not quite fully implemented yet, but by the time the full update comes along, this is a pretty big snapshot, really.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool. I think they should just add the whole Feed the Beast mod to it.
Well, they've got that hopper in there. It may not be...
Yeah, they got the hopper, that's for sure.
And come January 11th, EA will be shutting down the last of its online services for dozens of sports titles, including the entirety of the 2011 roster of games, like Madden NFL 11, FIFA 11, NBA Jam, NHL 11, and so on. However, this also includes NBA Live 10, which is the last NBA basketball game EA has made after the last 2 incarnations were both cancelled, one of which we mentioned on our previous cast. Basketball gamers will have to change to 2K series in order to play their hoops online until this fall to see if EA will try again. In a related tag, Sims 2 for PC and Mac will also lose its online services on the 14th. But as Sims 3 has pretty much taken over that market quite well since its launch in 2009, that's not nearly as a bad thing to gamers as basketball players not being able to play their games with their friends anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a sports game person, but still, that's kind of a lame move.
That's really... And Sims 2? Wow, there's still a decent community there.
I imagine the community will still thrive. I don't remember a whole lot of online connectivity for The Sims 2 except for maybe the mall.
Yeah.
Most of these places existed off on their own anyway.
Yeah, Mod The Sims 2 is still there, so it don't matter.
Yeah, you'll still be able to download probably all sorts of new goodies, so that should be just fine. And over the last month, Zynga, there they are again.
Zynga!
Has been killing a great number of their games. Now, I did not hear about this during our last few episodes, otherwise I probably would have been mentioning it. I don't know if it was quiet or just didn't make major news or what, but a great number of their games have been bumped to recoup costs set forth by Art Pincus, including some major titles like Fishville, Treasure Isle, Petville, Mafia Wars 2, Indiana Jones Adventure World, Vampire Wars, and even Montopia, which we just got through mentioning was going to be launching. It's that Pokemon knockoff that we mentioned, I believe, late November.
Vampire Wars.
So that's some major games I just listed there. Heck, I was playing about 3 of those back in the day.
I played Fishville and Petville.
For those who had large hours and paid bonuses for the games, at least Zynga is being a little decent about this whole thing and offering bonus packages to give them virtual items for some of the remaining big following games like Mafia Wars and Farmville 2 and Cityville. But yeah. And Wii U, it surpassed the 2 million sales recently, which is 81% of how well the Wii sold by this time, which I remind people sold like hotcakes and was $100 cheaper. So the Wii U is finally picking up a bit of steam after its very unimpressive launch. Christmas pushed more than 1 million of those to be sold in the US alone.
And I think that's simply because it was released and Christmas is around the corner, so people are like, wait till Christmas.
See if anybody's going to have any sales for a brand new system. I don't think there's very many of those, but you never know. Especially since the sales weren't going good, some stores may have panicked a little bit and knocked $20 off or something.
Yeah.
But the Wii U and the Ouya weren't the only new systems to launch late last year. On December 18th, the Neo Geo X launched to the public, a currently $200 handheld system which is by and large an arcade-perfect Neo Geo in the palm of your hand, and comes with 20 games preloaded including some of the SNK greats like Samurai Showdown 2, King of Fighters 95, Metal Slug, Fatal Fury Special, and Last Resort. Now if the price seems a little steep, it should be also noted that the current Gold Edition, which right now is the only way to actually buy the game at all, has a recharging station that, as you can see from the trailer here, is also a port to your TV to play on a big screen and comes with a controller that looks very similar to the Neo Geo controllers for the home system, so not so shabby after all. Though it could use a second controller because most of the games are like fighting games and two-player games, but whatever. A Ninja Masters game card was also offered as a bonus for pre-orders, and minigame cards are expected to be coming soon. So here's hoping that some of those Visco and Sunsoft games also make an appearance, since they never came out for the US. Everybody needs to play a little Waku Waku 7. Am I right, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Waku Waku 7.
Even though I've never played it.
And, remember that BioShock Ultimate Rapture Edition that's been listed as released twice last December, and we reported on it in both weeks in our game releases category? It's still not out. It's now listed as January 14th, 2013 in the US, so whether it's true or not, I think I'm done assuming these dates on these releases are right anymore. So that being said, we won't likely be mentioning game releases as its own category anymore because of the regularity of these lists being so inaccurate. However, we'll still report on big releases in our game news section here, which ultimately is probably the same thing. But over the next week, expect Anarchy Reigns, the Platinum Games brawler that mates online PvP with original characters alongside the characters from Mad World, and a DLC version of Bayonetta. And really, that's pretty much all that's coming out this next coming week. Now, the week after that, there's some major games coming out, but we'll have to wait till next week for that.
My one with game news is basically that it's two Minecraft-related things. During the Christmas day itself, Minecraft sold 453,000 copies. And now this is for all versions of Minecraft, but still, that's very impressive. And then the other one is that Minecraft Xbox version has now sold 5 million. So, my God, chugging right along.
Not bad for a game that looks like it was made in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
Or earlier.
Or even earlier. Compact Processio times.
So, any WoW news?
5.2 is on the PTR, so that's available for people to play with. There are some class changes and a new raid with that, so people interested can go and download the PTR and try out the new content before everybody else. But it is still in testing, so obviously there's probably going to be some bugs or glitches or things quite not working the way they're supposed to.
And even then, there's probably a few more tweaks before it's released to the public that may be too minor to be noticeable, but you never know.
Yeah, a lot of times they'll make the class changes, put them on the PTR to see how they work, and then modify them. So yeah, they'll modify them accordingly to what they think is a more balanced response. Other than that, nothing really.
Until we know more about that whole Project Titan, anyway.
Yeah, still waiting on that one. I should say this, they did announce that there will be a BlizzCon held this year.
And the fans rejoice. Somebody got shot. And the fans rejoice.
Yes.
So what's our game of the week, Grover? You're keeping me in suspense.
Oh, the game of the week is Beyblade Pixels. Beyblade Pixels is a beat-em-up platformer video game by Spooky Squid Games. And when I saw the squid, I thought this might be the makers of Waves, but no, they're a different company. And the story goes, when a young girl arrives at the Lefkadio Academy for troubled young ladies, she's unprepared for the violent nightmares that plague her dreams and transport her to another world. Worse yet, her dreams are intruding to her waking life, slowly altering her flesh into the demonic form of her night terrors. Like I said before, or if you just got here, this game is like a beat 'em up. It's kind of like, Final Fight, but not 3D-ish at all. It's very 2D, very indie. And it's just a trial and error game. It's very enjoyable though. It kind of like Super Meat Boy. I'm not gonna say not as hard because I haven't really got that far in yet. And when you guys see me, I'll start from the beginning again. So you're as usual. The game has a really interesting thing. It was supposed to be on Xbox as exclusive, but the company pulled that from Xbox, saying that they want to put it on Steam instead. That way they'll get more coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So and I guess they did. I guess they did or they didn't. And it's decent, and it's on sale right now for Steam. And Steam alone, you cannot get this game anywhere else for $10.
So, yep, I haven't seen a lot of the game, but my take on it is a combination of Shank and Super Meat Boy with the graphic style of, like, Cave Story, kind of.
The controls are really smooth on it. That's the way I noticed. I mean, even smoother than Meat Boy, and Meat Boy's pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good game, as far as I can tell. Of course, I'm not, like, an expert on it. I only played an hour or so.
I look forward to Game of the Week plays this week.
Yeah.
Get myself a little more familiar with it since I haven't
It'll be
watched
great
a lot.
to have a game to play every week that I know I'm going to play every day. Those weeks were kind of fun, but kind of weird, too, because it's just like, what am I going to play today?
That's what all of your side projects were for.
Mm-hmm. And they did well.
Mm-hmm.
I did take, I think I took New Year's and the day after that off, but other than that, it was a video every day.
He's keeping you entertained, folks. And they're not short videos, either. We're not talking 10-minute videos here.
Yeah, some of them are pretty damn long, and I know some people hate that, but honestly, I do what I want. You watch it or don't.
Watch it till you get bored.
Yeah, watch it till you get bored, and if you hate it, bitch me out in the comments. If you don't hate it, go ahead and click that like button, or do nothing, which is what a lot of people do. And that's not negative. A lot of people just like to watch, and they don't want to, think about, should I like this, or should I press that damn subscribe button?
Yeah, I tend not to comment too often on YouTube, and even on streams, I'm more of a lurker.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that brings us to our topic for today. But first, I want to take a little look back at the fact of this last year has not been very kind to a lot of the studios in the game-making business. We have lost 20 companies in 2012.
My God.
That includes Sony Liverpool, which was formerly Psygnosis, Spellbound Entertainment, Imagine Engine, Zipper Interactive, Rockstar Vancouver, which was formerly Barking Dog, Big Huge Games, Black Hole Entertainment, Big Studios, THQ San Diego, formerly Midway San Diego, and, THQ entirely is just not technically gone. Multiverse Network, Monumental Games, Ubisoft Vancouver, which was formerly Action Pants, HB Studios Halifax, Paragon, Bright Light, Dark Energy Digital, 4mm Games, Hog Rocket, 38 Studios, which has had its own gigantic controversy because of the whole loan with Rhode Island that they didn't get paid back, and thus the end of... And these were the guys that made the Kingdoms of Amalur, which was one of the bigger successes of 2012. And we also lost Hudson Soft, which has been a part of Konami since like 2005. But while most of the intellectual properties still belong to Konami now, and a lot of the same people who were from there are still working with the companies, Hudson Soft itself is now no more. It's been all merged into Konami itself. And even after all of this, there's countless layoffs at other companies, including just recently Square Enix laid off a few people in LA. And there's been no shortage of other gaming controversies either, including the deplorable advertising campaigns, the blow-up conversation of sexism in video games, the debacle with both Mass Effect 3's ending and Diablo 3 in general, especially with its launch, with the Capcom on its on-disc DLC for Street Fighter Cross Tekken, the whole crazy War Z thing, the DayZ knockoff game with the business practices so horrible Valve removed them from Steam entirely, and is expected to be a lot of lawsuits coming over this next year that will probably see the doom of its developer Hammerpoint, but none so big or dividing in the North American populace as far as controversy right now as our topic today. And that is violence in gaming. It's been an on-off hot topic for media for decades, almost since the dawn of the gaming industry, but last month's tragic shootings in Sandy Hook has once again brought a lot of this attention toward video games and their effect on youth, people, and society in general back into the mainstream attention.
Pet Cats 2. It's a game about kittens, Jack.
It's obviously a game about making kittens. Look at what they're doing here. Look at this. This is not for children.
Nintendo dogs. Little furry dog animals. What do you think?
If this game had never been made, Michael Vick would be a free man.